Michael Romer, managing partner at Romer Davis LLP. Great to have you taking the time. Thanks a lot for being here. Happy Friday to you. So applying for a mortgage, admittedly, an absolutely huge step for everyone involved. What is the best way you think for home buyers to really best prepare for this process?
Well, first, JD, thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure. And the key really is to be prepared. Unprepared buyers typically lose out in a competitive market. And to be prepared, really the key is to have all the documentation ready in advance before you actually apply for the mortgage. And that's really crucial, and I can't stress that enough.
Of course, there's a ton of paperwork that gets involved in the mortgage process. Anyone who has been through it knows how long and really how difficult that process can be. What sort of documents do you best recommend that people should really prepare in order to best secure a mortgage loan?
As a real estate attorney here in New York, I advise all of my clients and I advise all prospective borrowers to have a folder on their computer with scanned PDFs of a whole list of documents. We're talking about the simple stuff like a photo ID, your license, a passport, have 3 years of tax returns handy, 3 months of bank statements of all your accounts, checking, savings, money market, retirement accounts, recent pay stubs for all the individuals that will be on the loan, so for all borrowers. It's really important to have all this information handy and available so that when you apply, you're ready to go and you're making it easier for the bank.
Yeah, you absolutely want to make it as easy on yourself and all the other parties involved. Now, of course, anyone who's been really through the process of buying a home knows how important it is to get pre-approved for a home loan before even looking at potential properties. How can this step help better reduce stress? There's got to be a lot of really good tips for people to know.
If you want to be taken seriously as a buyer, you need to have a pre-approval letter in advance. The pre-approval letter will say how much you can afford. This will tell you how much you can afford, and it will tell all parties involved, potential sellers and all brokers involved, how much you can actually afford so that you're not wasting anybody's time. A pre-approval letter is really crucial. Now, buyers agents, realtors representing buyers will want to have their buyers obtain a pre-approval letter in advance. And a good agent will walk that buyer through the process in the beginning so that they actually have the letter, that they are prepared, and that if they find that home of their dreams, they'll be taken seriously.
Of course, real estate professionals interact with mortgages all the time. How can hiring an agent or a realtor better help you understand the process in and of itself?
Yeah, I stress and I advise every client to actually work with an agent that will represent their interests. So if you're looking for a home, you want to find somebody that is experienced, knows the neighborhood, knows the area, understands the process start to finish, but could also walk you through that process. And the earlier you engage an agent, the better. The earlier you engage a bank, the better. And the earlier you engage an attorney, the better, because you'll be prepared. You'll understand everything going into the process. And when you find that home of your dreams, you'll be ready to go.
And of course, as you advance in the mortgage process in and of itself, the focus on the loan approval ultimately revolves all around an individual's financial ability to repay that loan back. So what do lenders best consider when actually determining that and how it's going to go?
To really break this down into layman's terms, a bank, and we represent about 30 across the country here, but a bank will typically want to see that a borrower is able to purchase the home, so they have enough money to actually buy the home with the mortgage, and that they actually have enough money to afford the mortgage going forward. So the bank will look at certain things such as employment history. They'll look at your credit report. They will look at a key factor, your debt to income ratio, which is otherwise known as your DTI. So the bank will typically want to know how much you're spending versus how much you're making. And banks typically will want to see a DTI, a debt to income ratio, of under 35% in order to approve you for a loan.
And let's call this what this is. Things move very quickly in an increasingly competitive market. So talk to us a bit about the best advice that you have for making sure that people are prepared to move quickly.
Well, I am happy to report that in New York and in other areas throughout the country, the residential market is pretty busy and active. And thank God for that after all that we've gone through in the last year or so. So the key really is to just be prepared. If you want to buy in a competitive market, you want to make sure that you're working with the right agent, that you're working with the right bank, and ultimately the right lawyer. But it all starts with that document that we've talked about, this pre-approval letter. because your offer won't be taken seriously by the listing agent representing the seller or the seller unless it's actually submitted with that pre-approval, meaning that everybody involved knows that you'll be able to afford what you're claiming to be able to afford. And that's really important. You want to make sure that you have all these pieces to the puzzle in place. And nowadays, it's really electronic. Everything is there. You could upload documents into a folder. Most banks these days allow you to just upload those PDFs into a folder, and the application process is really simple. So I'm hoping today that I'm taking some of the stress out of it, because it's important just to be prepared. And as long as you're prepared and you have the right team of people behind you, you'll find that home that you're looking for, and hopefully you'll be able to close on it.
My special thanks there, Michael Romer. Michael, I do want to apologize. I did not quite get the name of your company correct on the way in. It is Romer DeBoss. Michael Romer, managing partner at Romer DeBoss LLP. My special thanks to you. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for taking the time.